things you say to yourself. Think of how you declare on a daily basis how you're not like God. Think of how you declare to your neighbor that you're not like God, or the sales clerk, or your child, or your mother, or your father, or anybody or anything. Think of how you declare that and cut it out. Knock it off. Don't make those statements anymore. Feel how you feel about it, but stop yourself mid-sentence. Today's talk is called I Am Your Child. I am your child. I am the blessed child of God. It's all I can be, no matter how I feel. I'm never not going to be the child of God. I may not be the victim of the world I see, but I am the child of God that I see. And you are my mirror. You are reflecting back to me what I think about myself. And so if I don't like those thoughts, I have the choice of looking at the mirror differently and saying, okay, fine, what's in the mirror is good. Now, Spirit, tell me what that good is. Because otherwise, I'm going to make up something that's not true. I'm going to say fat. I'm going to say bald. I'm going to say something that is wrong. Something, and who made it wrong? Good heavens. How could I be less than beautiful if I am the child of God? And how can you be less than beautiful if you are the child of God? That's why I was so glad when David went around with that affirmation, that I could say, all that I see that is wrong in the world is merely a misperception. And if I insist on seeing it wrong, that's due to my unwillingness to ask for what it actually is, and my willingness to live in the illusion of wrongness. It has occurred to me lately that if I don't like something in the world, I've got to forgive it if I want to see it change. And I thank my mirror for showing me that, for revealing that to me, for showing me that if it is so wrong and I am so attached to it, I've got to forgive it if I want to see it change, if I want to see it shift. It is the only way that is ever going to happen. When I began to fall in love with my family is when I forgave my family. I didn't ask my family to change so that I could forgive them. I asked myself to change so that I could see my family correctly. I didn't have the word correctly then, but so that I could see my family in a way that I could love them without needing them to change to be lovable. Because you see, I wanted a family. I wanted my mother. I wanted a relationship with my mother. My father was gone, but I still wanted a relationship with him. I wanted a relationship with my brothers. Once my mother left this planet, I got it one day. And I told you this, some of you this before, some of you we're just meeting, how do you do? And you'll hear it for the first time now. I realized my mother and I were actually siblings. And the reason for that is because there is only one parent. Parent. One. And so therefore we are all siblings. Now we take on roles in these human forms. We take on parenting roles. But there is only one divine parent. And so therefore we are siblings. I thought, I wish I had realized that earlier. I could have let my mother off the hook for a lot of stuff while we were here, and we could have had a lot more fun. And we ended up having a lot of fun together later on in years. As I say, my mother was not good with children. But as an adult, she became quite a good mother to me. But that's because I was willing. Because I was willing. Again, some of you have heard this story. One Christmas I was at home visiting, and my mother and my oldest brother really did not. My older brother didn't like my mother, or our mother, and with a lot of good reason. But nonetheless, it's still about perceptions. And this one Christmas I was at home visiting, and Mother was still very much alive then, and my brother Mark said to me, "You keep saying she's changed, but I don't see how." And she'd been a particular piece of work that year. And I said, "Mark, you're right. She hasn't changed, but I have. So therefore she reacts differently to me than she does to you. You are keeping the old paradigm alive. I'm not, because I want to love her. I want to." A teenage boy came to me for counseling. And I knew his mother very well. The mother arranged it and everything. And we sat down and he went off about his mother. And I said, "Here's the deal. Let's understand something here. No one wants to hate their mother. No one wants to. Some people may feel that they do, but no one wants to hate their mother. And so therefore, if you want to be free from these feelings, you've got to shift how you see things. Because as long as you're waiting for her to change, it's going to happen. You are maintaining the old paradigm. And that's the same in all our relationships. That's the same in every relationship that we have. You're the one who has to change if you wish to be free and at peace in your relationship. You've got to forgive it, which means to give forth for love. Give forth in mind that love exists here, even if I don't understand it. I am your child means I am the blessed child of God. But I'm also your child, and your child, and your child, and you're my child, and my child. We're all here being children and trying to parent all at the same time to learn how to be a healthy parent to oneself. You know, there are some people you meet that are just so good at it. And it's really impressive how they know how to parent without enabling. My friend Joy is like that. My friend Joy is so good at being a response. She has no children of her own, but she has parented me in ways of love. Some of you have heard the story before, you'll hear it again. Years ago, we had been at a class at Unity in the City, lunchtime class we went to every Tuesday, and we went to lunch afterward, as we usually did, the tea den, which is no longer there, but we went for our Chinese food. And at lunch, I was starting to yammer on about what was wrong about someone or something, and she just continued to eat her lunch. She didn't say a word. And suddenly I got it. It's like playing Monopoly with someone who won't roll the dice. It's not fun. But what it was she was going to let me wind down without criticizing me, but she wasn't going to pick up the dice and play with me. And the language, she didn't want to participate that day. She wasn't going to pick up the dice and join in the gossip, the criticism, the complaining. She wasn't going to do that. But at the same time, she loved me enough not to embarrass me or say I shouldn't do that. And I thought, oh, that's some nice parenting. But I was willing to be parented nicely because I could notice it. And I was embarrassed. But that was my doing. But I thanked her. And this was a lot of years ago, and I have thanked her many times. I've told the story many times, because I'm still so grateful that I was present to bear witness to good parenting in my life. And I've been able to do that for a few others. Because it's not always good to come back with a platitude. It's not always the best thing. Sometimes it's just to be the mirror of listening. But knowing what the person's saying isn't who they are, isn't what they are. Often it's about asking yourself, what is it they're actually saying? It's my challenge in ministry. Believe it or not, people come to me to complain about me. They come to me to complain about the church. They come to me to complain, and I have to stop and pray and say, what is it they are actually saying? Sometimes I forget to stop and pray, and I make up what it is they're saying. I take them at face value. And then we run into a problem, because I haven't practiced good parenting. But I see, I'm not your parent, except in that I'm responsible for showing up for the role that we have taken on. Fortunately, I'm not responsible for the results of what you think when we're done. Whoosh, I'm off the hook there. I'm responsible for listening. That's the job of a minister, the job of a chaplain. You know, when we train the chaplains, one of the first things we say is what is the chaplain's job? To hold sacred space. It is to keep confidences. It is not to counsel. Although I do spiritual counseling here 3 times for one subject, and then you must go to a higher level of professional than you would with me. I am a spiritual counselor, not fixer, not problem solver, spiritual counselor, which means really what my job is to see God in you, is to see light in you, and to let you know it's there. That is really the function of a spiritual counselor. One day somebody called me who was having a terrific problem with a conflict with someone else. And because I care about this person and I have a more special relationship with this individual, I'm trying to think, what can I say? What's the right thing to say? And all I did was talk about God. I didn't decide to talk about God. That's how I responded. And the person later said, boy, you know how to talk to me. And I walked away thinking I didn't do anything except talk about God. And I was afraid they'd think it was just platitudes. And they said, you know to take me right to God. And I thought, no, you know how to draw God right to you and your consciousness. I'm just the vessel. I'm the vessel. I am here to give you what you're willing to receive. You're here to give me what I'm willing to receive. Are you willing to receive and give, or first give yourself and receive all that God has given to you? It's not that God is going to give it. It's that God has already given it. And some of us are not admitting that God has already given it. We're pretending it's still absent. We're pretending it's still on its way. I got news for you. Love is not on its way. Love is here. Peace isn't on its way. Peace is here. Health, wealth, confidence, freedom isn't on its way. It's already here because God, the parent, mother, father, God, has already given it freely and unconditionally. And if you don't see it, it's because you're misusing it. And so pray by saying, Spirit, how would I correctly use the love that God is, and therefore the love that I am? How would I correctly use or understand the peace that is, and therefore the peace that I am? How would I, not why don't I? That is a useless question. Put it aside. Put it aside for never. Put it aside in the drawer that you know you'll never get to. And ask, how? How would I remember that I am God's child today? What are the thoughts I need to think to demonstrate the harmony I wish to experience, the security I wish to experience? See, that's the correct use of your parent, of the parent, and how to parent yourself. I read this on the internet, and I thought it was rather sweet in honor of Mother's Day. And it said a group of decided to ask children ages 4 to 8 the simple question, what is love? And Claire, age 6, said, my mommy loves me more than anybody. You don't see anyone else kissing me to sleep at night. Elaine, age 5, says, love is when mommy gives daddy the best piece of chicken. Cindy, age 8, during my piano recital, I was on a stage and I was scared. I looked at all the people watching me and saw my mommy waving and smiling. She was the only one doing that. I wasn't scared anymore. Danny, age 7, love is when my mommy makes coffee for my daddy and she takes a sip before giving it to him to make sure the taste is okay. Billy, age 4, says, love is like how my mommy says my name. When someone who loves you that way, when they say your name, it is different. You just know that your name is safe in their mouth. See, there's no theology in that. There's just acceptance of seeing something they like and that they feel confident in, safe in, secure in, and there's no malice in it. There's no attempt to control in it. There's no agenda in it. if there's an agenda in your love, ask Spirit how you could love without an agenda. You know, when I say Spirit, I'm talking about that voice that lives inside you, that highest voice. Not the ego voice, but the highest voice. And you know that voice. You ask that voice that interprets God to you, and only will speak good of you to you. Ask it how. I've been asking Spirit a lot lately. I've been journaling a lot. You know, asking Spirit to explain my thoughts to me so that I don't have to have limited thoughts. So that I no longer have to take on thoughts of guilt. That I no longer have to take on, because you see, nobody can make me guilty. Because you didn't know that. Your mother cannot make you guilty. You as a mother cannot make a child guilty. Yeah, that's a misuse of our thoughts. That's where, thank goodness, God knows the truth about what I think is wrong. And what I think is wrong is merely a misperception. And so, would you be willing to admit you are God's beloved child, called beautiful, and you cannot be anything else? I am God's child. I am God's child. Would you look at your neighbor, please, and tell them you are God's child? You are God's child. You are God's child. Tell somebody else. Make sure you remind them. You are God's child. God's child. Did everybody get told? Yes. Did you all hear you are God? Did everybody get to tell somebody else? Do you believe it?